there are two main critical things that are important in an integrated and enlightened practice. One is venerating the patient's database and life experience. I have seen many times in my practice people coming to see me that have been to many other psychiatrists and mental health practitioners, and nobody spends an adequate amount of time with them. Nobody even does a medication history to perfection. That is, oh, so you failed on, let's say, escitalopram, and you failed on fluoxetine, and the patient comes in and report, well, you know, this was tried and it failed. Well, what dose was it tried at? Was it pushed up to the maximum dose? Was it started too low, or was it started too high? And so you get people that are confused about their own mental health care. Many of them don't even know what their diagnosis is. And they are, they're basically lost. And if they go to yet another person who's got a 30-minute new patient or a 1-hour new patient slot, and the medication history isn't explored, the patient's biopsychosocial situation is not explored. And I've had people come in, and because my intake is 2 hours, and so I have time to get to know the patient, and it's amazing what will come out in that 2 hours. I've had women talk to me about being sexually abused. I've had a woman tell me about her spontaneously aborted fetus, which she saw in the toilet after it happened. And this was like, I think, 2 months or 3 months into it. And I asked her, how are you with that? Have you ever had any psychotherapy to deal with that? I mean, if you're just running people through, like, what is your symptom? What have you been on? Let's start another medication. You will never get the complete, rich, textured history of a person, and you will never really understand what makes them tick. So you've got to get that. And then secondly, I think that you have to be optimistic and solutions oriented. That is, that you can't say, well, this medication didn't work, so too bad for you, or you're not trying hard enough, or, you know, if you only did what I had told you, then things would be better. Why isn't the patient better? Why isn't it working? Is there an untreated biological problem? I think there needs to be an underlying restless curiosity about why isn't the patient getting better, if they're not getting better, and then formulating a solution to do something about it. So listening to the patient, getting the complete history, and then trying to understand the patient, and then be appropriately intellectually and therapeutically aggressive with the treatment. Psychiatry is really like that, the animal, vegetable, or mineral, except in psychiatry, it's biological, psychological, and behavioral. And those are the only three things that a psychiatrist or a therapist can deal with. The biology of the patient is, what is their nutritional status? What are their hormones? Do they have food allergies? Do they have metabolic imbalances, etc.? That's the biology. The psychology is like the old black and white TVs with movies with a person laid out on the psychoanalytic couch, you know, looking like it's a very relaxing procedure, which it typically is not. But they're talking about their problems, and, you know, so kid, why are you like this? Do you have aggression, you know, internalized toward your parents or whatever? That's the psychotherapeutic approach. And then the behavioral is shame, shame, shame. Don't do that. You have now misbehaved. Go in timeout. So the comment that I made today was timeout will not solve a yeast infection in the gut. And what I meant was you cannot apply one domain's treatment for another domain's problem. So you cannot apply a behavioral intervention to a biological problem. You have to apply a biological solution to the biological.